People did that. How's it doing? So I just want to talk about radio television show, and I know people probably like, oh, why do we have to talk about RTE? The one people that we don't want to talk about is RTE, because there's nothing good about them. And say, just to say straight away, there's a protest tomorrow in RTE, Saturday. I'm not too sure the time. I know it's tomorrow, at RTE, and I think they're going to the GPO after. I'm not too sure. But look it up. There's a Twitter account actually for it. And just to say, straight away, talk about OT just for a second. I don't like them. I don't like them straight away. They don't do like the majority of the time they report either spin the story, they talk absolute rubbish, they talk any this they spin it as much as they can to suit the government's narrative, or they suit whatever narrative they're trying to spin. Because they might be talking like the old Patsy down the road could be shot dead, and they'd be saying, "Oh, Patsy, took a few pints, went to the pub, and didn't pay €9 for me, and he got COVID and he died." That's the way they spin it. Because the talk. The one thing happens in the talk, and they say the other thing. If that makes any sense. So sometimes they just don't even bother to say anything at all. They just say, "Nothing to see here, children." Nothing at all. So straight away, the TV license. First of all, should be got rid of. It's just getting more money. The government wants more money. Because if you didn't know, government one agency, RT radio television, not independent. The government pays for it. Mr. Mihole pays RT to make sure the government looks good. But yeah, obviously the taxpayer pays for it, and it's a public broadcasting system. Really, it's the state of one media. That's just putting it straight. So they have to look good. Mihole and Leo and Minister Ryan, who is probably halfway asleep, but anyway, they have to make him look good. See, the time Leo went to the Phoenix Park, this is a perfect example. They didn't cover that. They didn't cover it. They said, "Oh, nothing to see here, children. Disgraceful. Don't even mention it on OT. Nothing to see here, children. Just random people making up stuff." But apparently, he did go to the Phoenix Park. OT didn't say a thing about it. But the only reason why they said this about the golf gate is because people on the internet would absolutely explode it. And it was just out of proportions. Well, out of proportions. New York Times even reported on it, and OT had to report on it. They could not say anything because OT would have been, decimated. With people giving that feck about them, because they had to say something. They didn't want to say something. Of course, they didn't want to say something. Because they're government friends, and Sean O'Rourke was there with them, so you know what I'm saying. They should be independent if they are. But anyway, in with the government, in with the barristers, in with the judges. Isn't it great? Great country. Everybody's in with each other. The government and the ministers and everybody's in one room, having got a game of drinking and whatever else politicians do, give out money, brown envelopes. Excuse me. Even green envelopes too. We're not going to discriminate. We get envelopes. So yeah, and OT is just it matches the Soviets' propaganda system. It even matches North Korea. If we went over to North Korea now and showed them RT, right, and said to Kim Jong Un, "Look at RT, watch RT for about 10 minutes," he'd be like, "This is the best propaganda system ever made." He'd probably even bring it into his own country, because he'd be like, "This is too much propaganda. RT's too much propaganda, pro-government propaganda. We won't say anything bad against the government. How dare you criticise the Irish government on this? How dare you have an opinion?" First of all, if it's not a government snap on it saying you're entitled to this opinion because the government holds this opinion, this is what the government wants to do, and if you say something against that opinion or something against that agenda, you're a terrorist. You're at the Irish somebody. That's what RT more or less says. Now sometimes, in fairness, they do talk some sets. Sometimes, and that's very seldom. Sometimes they do expose some stuff. Obviously, fair play to them. At least we're giving them a small bit of credit. But at the end of the day, they're not really much good. They're not really much use RT. They go very easy on politicians. They won't, drive politicians up the bend. And they ask very easy questions. They don't ask the hard questions. They won't put pressure on them. More or less, they won't. Like politicians. As I always say, the politicians should be afraid of the media. If I was a politician, I'd be afraid to go into the media, afraid to be challenged by the media and the general public. But they waltz in to, RT studios and RT radio, and not a bottom. No TD's afraid to go in or anything like that. But yeah, thank you for watching. This is More, and bye. And let me know what you think. Bye.